To our dear panelists, Dr. Mary Ann C. Mani, Dr. Elvin F. Gaak, and Dr. Arfelina I. Manzo, to my thesis advisor, Dr. Mario A. Vitalver Jr., other thesis advisors, my co-researchers, to everyone, good morning. My thesis is entitled Implementation of the Work Immersion Program in Public Senior High Schools in Southern part of Tablas Island, Basis for Intervention Program. One of the major problems that hinder the economic growth of the Philippines is the youth unemployment. According to the Labor Force Survey in 2016, the age group in which the senior high school students encompasses 48.4% of the unemployed population in the country. The inflation and unemployment rate, as the Department of Labor and Employment opines, can be attributed to the lack of work competences and experience relevant to the demands of the industry. To address this, the Department of Education incorporated work immersion into the senior high school curriculum as stipulated in DepEd Order Number 30, Series 2017. Work immersion aims to contribute to the enhancement of the students' employment prospects by equipping them with the appropriate knowledge, skills, and values dovetailed to the needs of industries. It also prepares them to become prepared in pursuing higher education relevant to their chosen tracks and strengths. The goal of this research is to examine the difficulties experienced by the K players and their coping mechanisms in the implementation of the senior high school work immersion program. Since the program is only on its fifth year of implementation, existing studies and literature investigating the challenges encountered by students, work immersion advisors, and partner agencies are limited. The investigation is also aimed to explore whether the perspective of the respondents towards the implementation of the program significantly deviates from one another. The result and findings of this research are essential in establishing the ground for developing a program and for crafting relevant policies and intervention aimed at enhancing and polishing of the process of implementation. This study will be anchored to the theory of Mikonen 2020, which explains that learning by doing means learning from experiences resulting directly from one's actions. In other words, it is a method by which students make the most of their education through active participation. In this process, the teacher's role is only to feed the learners with variety of activities. This study is a mixed design utilizing the quantitative and qualitative analysis. Quantitative method shall focus on the determining significant difference in the level of difficulty of the key players of the study, while qualitative method shall play vital role in the identification of the coping mechanism of the key players towards work immersion through thematic analysis. This study will sought to realize the following objectives. First is to identify the challenges in the implementation of the work immersion program encountered by the following key players: students, parents, work immersion program coordinator, and partner agency. Second is to determine the coping mechanisms of the following key players in their difficulties in the implementation of work immersion: the students, parents, work immersion program coordinator, and partner agency. And third is to develop an intervention program to enhance the work immersion practices in public senior high schools in the southern part of the Blas Island. To guide the researcher on the analysis and interpretation of the result of the statistical procedures that will be done to the data to be gathered, the hypothesis below is forwarded. There are no significant differences in the level of difficulty of the respondents in terms of the implementation of work immersion. The findings of this research will provide the educational policymakers and school leaders a baseline for the crafting or adoption of policies that may be executed in a large-scale manner to improve the implementation of the work immersion. Partner institutions and agencies will also be instrumental in realizing their vital role in improving the employment competences of the students. The improvement of the work immersion practices will mean cutting down their expenses and providing trainings for the new employees in the future, since senior high school graduates are already equipped with competencies relevant to the needs of the industry. Likewise, the work immersion teachers will also benefit from the study, in the sense that its results will intensively acquaint them with the dimensions relevant to the implementation of the work immersion program that necessitate immediate attention. The students will also benefit because with the provision of an improved work immersion program, they will have a higher chance of landing a job after high school and of performing productively in their chosen field of work. This study will investigate the work immersion program implementation in public senior high schools in the southern part of Tablas Island during the school year 2021-2022. Producing graduates with lifelong skills is the mission of all secondary schools. Thus, employability skills are already developed among our senior high school learners through their work immersion. However, our present educational setting is now facing great challenge to make on-the-job training successful and effective through hands-on works should be undertaken by our graduating senior high school students. As Victory Christian International School said that work immersion program concretizes the ideas, lesson, and opinions learned in school. Consequently, this involvement can turn into real experiences and apprehension that last a lifetime. According to Molus and Poneranza, stakeholder engagement has a direct impact on success of organization based on professional opinion, which leads to a structural model showing relationships and guides. In addition, stakeholder engagement provide guidance to participating decision making for satisfactory outcome. Through the exploratory design of the study, stakeholder engagement can be taught effective resources, governance, and illuminating boundaries. Jordan, as integrated on the U.S. Education Report in 2016, emphasized that stakeholder engagement should focus on information sharing and gathering feedbacks to ensure greater success of every student and embrace the collaborative model of curriculum implementation because lack of engagement can hinder collaboration, improvement ideas, and learning outcomes. Administrators' planning skills must be importantly considered during the process of work immersion, for it will allow one to look ahead and accomplish goals or avoid emotional, financial, physical, or social hardship. Tibojuk said that planning skills let you organize and manage operations and the workforce you have at any given time. To authentically engage stakeholders, school leaders should employ strategic approaches. First is listening and consider it through where organization can acquire knowledge, experience, and involving judgment. Another approach is opportunities for dialogue and take deliberation. Duferty and Reddy assert that without opportunities for deliberation, institutional stakeholders are less likely to hear competing arguments to measure and understand economic dimensions of policies within the organization. Public schools are in the midst of economic and public pressure, given the fact that they should primarily focus on providing quality education and meeting academic standards. However, these pressures, such as increased political debate and current economic conditions, are prevalent in achieving their primary goal. This can be done through the participation of the community in school events that will lead to a two-way communication between two parties. This study is a mixed design utilizing the quantitative and qualitative analysis. Quantitative method shall focus on the determining significant difference in the level of difficulty of the key players of the study, while qualitative method shall play a vital role in the identification of the coping mechanism of the key players towards work immersion through thematic analysis. I will use survey questionnaires with a Likert scale from 1 to 5 for a series of questions to be completed by the participants. Just range defines the intensity of their feeling of their opinion based on observation for a given time. This study will be conducted in all secondary high schools offering senior high schools in southern part of the Blessed Island, Romblon, for the school year 2021-2022. So there are 1,400 respondents in the study, which will include 17 partner institutions, 9 work immersion coordinators, 692 students, and 682 parents. This investigation will utilize complete enumeration sampling in obtaining the samples involving the partner institutions and work immersion teachers. Complete enumeration is used when the data population has limitations in terms of number. In determining the samples of parents and students from the 3 public senior high schools in Tablas, the stratified random sampling technique will be employed. This sampling technique is most appropriate for this group of respondents in ensuring that each subgroup is well represented. A questionnaire crafted by the researcher and adapted from Matabang HB and Kemson LL and Austin RB will be used to gather the data needed to determine the challenges experienced by the key players in the implementation of the work immersion program. On the other hand, an open-ended questionnaire will be crafted to determine coping mechanisms to address such difficulties of respondents in the implementation of the program. After the development of the instrument, it will be subjected for validation from field experts to ensure that will yield the accurate result aligned to the research question. After the retrieval of the research instrument, the collected data will be sorted, collated, and tabulated accordingly. To analyze the data to be collected in this study, the researcher will employ frequency and percentage and weighted mean using the statistical package for social sciences or the SPSS. The statistical tool to be used is the weighted mean. It is used to determine the most common challenges of the key players during work immersion program. This can be computed using the formula mean is equal to F times X over N. Another is a one-way ANOVA. It will be used to determine the significant difference between and among the domains in terms of the perception of the respondents towards the level of difficulties encountered by the respondents in the implementation of the senior high school work immersion program. So this can be computed using the formula F is equal to the square of the means between groups divided by the square of the means with groups. My proposed research output is to craft a program enhancement plan. The plan, upon approval of the school's division superintendent of Romblon, will be implemented after the conduct of the study in senior high schools in the southern part of the Blas Island. The plan will constitute specific programs that will target the specific gaps in the implementation that are identified after the conduct of the investigation and the particular needs of the key players such as the students, work immersion coordinators, and industry partners, and parents. That will be all. I am now ready for your questions, recommendations, and suggestions. Thank you very much.